Words of, oh, make sure your husband good, make sure he taken care of. And it's like, I just had the baby. I've had the baby, and now I have all of these other things that people are expecting me to think of other than me. Hey, good people.
Welcome to Love Out Loud with the Dudes podcast. We have tough conversations about our relationships to help you improve yours.
We're not perfect. We're just sharing our journey in hopes you can avoid some of the hurdles we've had to overcome.
This is a safe space.
Let's improve our relationships together as we love out loud.
Welcome back, family. I'm Joe.
And I'm Imani, and this is Love Out Loud with the Dudes.
If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Glad to see you.
Yes.
This episode is going to be a little different. We're taking a request from a viewer who has a question that she would like our honest opinion on. And so we both read the statement, came up with a set of questions. We have not rehearsed it, and we're
straight off the dome.
Our honest opinion
yes.
on how we feel and what we think about the situation. So without further ado,
I can read the question too.
Mani's going to read the question. We're going to get at it.
Or the topic that they wanted us to speak about. I was wondering if you guys could do a pod on how becoming parents has changed your relationship, positives and negatives. It's because I've seen a lot of talk about the fact that every marriage goes through a transition and change when a child comes into the mix. And I'd love to hear your take on it. So we have composed a Q&A style. We both have 10 questions. So we're gonna bounce back and forth and asking our questions to each other. And this should be fun. I'm eager to hear your questions and responses. All right, so here we go. You want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. Question number 1. What's one thing you miss about our relationship before becoming parents? And what's something you wouldn't trade for the world now?
I miss our freedom. I ain't gonna hold you. I miss our freedom. The fact that we could just go and do, like when people talk about it before, yes, because y'all ain't got no kids. And I'm like, you're right. And that was the case. And the fact that we don't have support as far as like sitter, and even if we did, I'm not even about to go let anybody be with my baby. But just the idea of not having a sitter to go date night and those things we used to do. Mm-hmm. And not saying that we can't bring Lux, it's just the fact that she's been with us every day since she's been born. And it's going to be with us every day after, right? And it's fine. I wouldn't trade that for the world because she's an awesome daughter. Yeah. She's more than what I could imagine having. It's just that what really opened my eyes up to that was when we just went back to Michigan. That stroller bag was so heavy.
We had to carry so many things.
I had to carry so many
That's true. Through the airport.
It went from we could just take a carry-on, I'm just one hand in it, double bag, going to, I got
especially if we popping in and out.
I got to check the car seat, and the stroller too expensive to check that at the gate, so counter, so check it at the gate. Hopefully that they take better care of it at the gate. Then stuffing it so I can pad it so I can make sure it's less likely to get damaged. Then we got her diaper bag, then we got our bags. And then we got a check bag because we got no choice with all her extra things. And then TSA agent was like, well, maybe I wouldn't have packed so much. I said, but you don't understand my daughter. She's used to these things at home, so I'm not going to go anywhere and she not be able to have
her things.
Especially at this age. She's accustomed, and this is what gets us through the day.
And that's how we travel too.
Exactly.
Like, we have things that we use on a daily basis that are just non-negotiable, so we bring them. We figure out how to make them work so we can bring them.
I want you to answer the same question. What would you say?
I miss our ability to just do things that we enjoy. We could hop up and go on a road trip, or we can hop up and take a flight, or we can hop up and go to dinner or go out, and it's not, we could decide in an hour, we both take showers, get ready and be out. And now it's every time we leave the house, oh, we need this. Now we got to plan for 4 hours. And so I miss us being able to just hop in the car. And I'm grateful for our daughter 100%. But do I miss that in our relationship? Yes, I wish we had a live-in nanny of some sort. So somebody that I know she would love and enjoy to be with. could be here as well, so we could just do some of those things again. And I'm grateful that we actually did a lot of those things when it was just us two, because life, people say it, but life looks a lot different now than it did before, 100%. So that's something that I miss. But something I wouldn't trade for the world now. I just love us. I felt like our family was complete, but now I feel like it's even more complete, and I don't know how to explain it. And people say once you get a kid, it's almost like, how were they all not here always? You know, I feel like, how was Lux not here always?
She just wakes up and just smiles. She just be so happy.
And she's she's the best parts of both of us, which is an answer prayer.
For sure. And like, she just gotta touch us while she's sleeping.
All the way.
Like that right there is love, bro. Like, just because she's so happy to see us. And I know it would get back to some type of normality of what we used to have as she grow older, but at the same time, I'm cherishing these moments because she's only young
now
once. And she's only getting older each day. Like, she's changing daily, and more inventory features, and just doing like that. Man, she's gonna be walking and talking. Like, she stands perfectly straight. Like, she's ready to start walking. So I'm just cherishing the moments.
It happens a lot faster than I think I was prepared for. It feels like it's flying. It's like every day is like, and the days are moving so quickly, and we just watch her grow. She's like a human timeline.
How does a child change things?
It's a lot more prepping, planning, strategizing for everything, for today, for tomorrow, for forever. It's just a lot more. Like I was saying earlier, we can't just hop up and leave out the house. We have to make sure we have all of her necessities so that she's okay. And if we're going to be out for an extended period of time, what does that look like? She doesn't like being out late at night, so we have to make sure we get her back pretty early. Not even late. She don't like being out past basically the end of midday. So we have to make sure that we can get her back at a decent hour where she's not fussy. And it changes a lot of things. It changes how we eat, it changes when we eat, it's changed how we've taken care of ourselves and worked out, it's changed how we spend time together, it has changed how we sleep.
In the shortest form that I can say this is, your life revolves around somebody who can't even wipe their own butt.
For sure.
Everything has changed. You gotta even watch where you go, because you might have germs on you that they're not even immune to yet. And our life looks different than somebody else that may view this, because we stay across the country from majority of all of our support. So the fact that we just can't call someone over here and say, hey, can you come spend time with her while we go do these things, or just give us a break, we don't have that. And she's not a bad kid at all. She just loves to be loved.
Question 2, how has watching me become a mom changed the way you see me as a wife?
Oh, that's a great question. I realized that, first I'm gonna say this, you are a wonderful mother and a wife. Like, it shows me how much that I made the right decision by asking you to marry me. And that I made the right decision on actually having a kid with you. It made my wait worth it. And I realized that the things in which I speak about that I did want to go through, baby mama trauma, won't be my life. And that I'm forever grateful for. What being a mother has shown me about my wife is that you are very much a little girl at heart. The same things that Lux desired to have from her daddy is the same things you desire to have from your husband. And it took me, Lux, to fully understand that, because you would say those things, but I never really understood until I started giving those things to Lux, and then I realized, it just dawned on me like a light bulb switch went on. Like, these are the same things money asks for. But I understand it now, and now I'm like, I want to apologize because it shouldn't take me that long. I can see that the ultimate joy in which it brings her, it's the same that it does bring you. It made me become a better father, a better man, a better individual.
Aw, that's cute.
What did you expect after having a baby?
I expected to, and it's not even expected, I would say I did not know what postpartum would look like, because you hear so many different stories about postpartum depression, all of these things. So I wanted to make sure I could equip myself as much as possible to be able to navigate postpartum, where I wouldn't either lose myself if possible or not be depressed in postpartum. So that was always top of mind after having lugs. Where are you in this? Once you move past lugs and once you move past your husband, because there's also the words of, oh, make sure your husband good, make sure he's taken care of. And it's like, I just had the baby. I've had the baby. And now I have all of these other things that people are expecting me to think of other than me. So the biggest thing for me was making sure I thought about me postpartum as much as possible. Check in with me. What do you need? How are you feeling? So that was something that I can say, not that I expected, but that I planned for to make sure that was good. I'm just gonna hold her and take her hair out.
Yeah.
I took a moment. All right, next question. Oh, well, as you can see, we've added a special guest. You want to say hi? Would you like to say hi? Not right now. Let's hop forward. We had to take a brief intermission and be parents. In what ways has becoming a dad made you grow emotionally or spiritually?
I've grown both. Spiritually, I make sure I spend time with God every morning now. God lead my household. I believe that's what men do. So the more I grow, the more I can teach you and the more you can grow. And emotionally, I had to learn how to work on my tone and work on my voice as a whole. She needs a strong male figure in her life, and you need a strong husband. And I got to learn how to I had to learn how to take criticism and critiques.
Hey, good. Good.
Do you handle misunderstandings? I was asking Perry before having a child.
I feel like now it's a little bit different because there's less room for us to misunderstand because there's a whole nother person. So now I feel like we work to get to clarity faster and get on the same page faster than we did before. I was the person who was okay going days without clarity, right? And now I'm like, no, well, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? Why did you say that? Because now I'm like, well, let's have the conversation and get to the bottom of it now. I just don't feel like there's as much room for that as was before because there's already so much on our plate that I feel like we have to eliminate the frivolous things and misunderstanding. And there's always misunderstanding. There's always miscommunication just because we are still two people who are coming from two different backgrounds who are trying to make one life work. So there's always some level of misunderstanding, but I'm working to get to one level of clarity as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Before you go to your question, I want to backtrack just a little bit because I meant to ask you this. When you say you wanted to make sure you were well equipped for postpartum, what did you do? And what does being well equipped look like for you that you can maybe shed light on and then help others?
For me, something that I really prioritized postpartum was, as quickly as I felt up to it, working to do the things that I enjoyed. So I enjoy doing my makeup. I enjoy doing my hair. I enjoy throwing on a great fit. And anybody in postpartum or headed towards postpartum, get you a good pair of jeans. There's something about a good pair of jeans, good fitting jeans, not loungewear, not loose wear, not anything stretchy, but a good pair of structured jeans really made me feel like back to myself, because there's so much give in postpartum clothes and maternity clothes and just all the relaxed wear, all the relaxed loungewear. But when I actually was able to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight and I could fit in the sizes that I used to fit, that was huge for me, to not getting back to who I am, but finding the new me on the other side of that. Maybe going out with a friend, maybe watching a movie by myself, because there's so much of you that becomes a mom at this point. My time was already cut significantly when you become a wife, but then it's cut even more drastically. You get about this much time when you become a mom. So it's figuring out how to have a movie by myself, whether that means, for me, it was getting up earlier. So I was always getting up earlier in the day to find more time to sit by myself, have my own thoughts, have my own ideas, and not have to be a mother and not have to be a wife. I could just be me. So I think that really helped me getting physically active. I was walking, I'm outside, I'm doing things that make me feel better about myself. I'm getting out, I'm getting in the sun. because there's so much of your day that can get swept away taking care of somebody else, and before you look up, the day is over. So it's about finding those little pockets of time, or making those little pockets of time in which you can I can just be Amani. I don't have to be Amani the wife. I don't have to be Amani the mom. I can just be Amani, doing my hair, doing my skincare, doing my makeup, getting dressed. Those are ways that I could take care of me as Amani.
Makes sense. I'm glad you could share. You got a question for me?
Yes. Let's talk intimacy. Has becoming parents changed how we connect romantically or emotionally?
I think so. I think that before you have a kid, there's always that possibility of having a kid, all right? After you have the kid,
The possibility of you having the kid. The first no is lowercase. The second no is capitalized.
Yes, that's most definitely. So I think that changes everything. You know?
We have to plan differently.
Yeah, 2 under 2 sounds wonderful, but 2 under 2 is 2 under 2. Me watching you give birth, I have found a newfound respect for you because that's difficult.
It was already whenever, however, but now it's like, that's what it's called. Now I feel like it's even more on site because time is of the essence as well. So it just looked different. You can't stay up late either. Yeah.
She's going to wake you up. She wants to be up with her parents. So how important do you think it is to have a partner, to know how your partner grew up?
I think it's very important to know how your partner grew up, because how your partner grew up is a huge part of how they are and why they are the way that they are. When they talk about their childhood, what's the first thing that comes up? How do they remember it? How they carry themselves? Because you may not even realize that you think a certain way, or you respond a certain way, or you do certain things. It's all because of what you went through, what your partner went through in their childhood, how they remember it, what their experience was, what they wish was different, what they really loved about it. Those things are the pillars of what is going to make them a parent, a good parent, a bad parent, or whatever. It is the pillars of what builds them to who they are now. I think a big thing for me too is the communication piece. Even when we were pregnant and walking up to pregnancy, we were both like, we've never done this before. We've never had a kid before. We don't know what postpartum is going to look like. We don't know what we're going to look like on the other side of this, but we must remember that we came into this together. Mm-hmm. And that we have to talk our way through it. We have to figure out how to open our mouths and say the things. And we have to work to be heard on both ends of it. And I think that was really important and really instrumental in us building the foundation to get us through those moments. Not saying they were easy. Right. I think they were still hard. There was still friction there because we both are experiencing things we've never experienced before. But I definitely think it helped when we went in saying we're going to be different on the other end of this, and we have to communicate our way through this, and we have to work to hear each other and be able to move forward without resentment or anger or frustration.
Yeah, because with the friction was also commitment there. So that was the whole thing. It was commitment with the friction. I think that now that you bring that up, I think that was a great reminder, because we had that conversation in your first trimester. You said me like, look, I'm pregnant, my hormones gonna be all over the place. That ain't necessarily who I am, but it may come off as that, but understand that I love you and this is just part of the process, and I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. I just know my hormones is not what it's used to being. So with that could maybe be a different me, but understand the things in which I say and how I say them is not necessarily how I feel. It just may come off that way. And I think that helped me out a whole lot, because I don't know none of this. If you don't say that, then I'll just take it for face value. And when it happened, and it didn't even happen to the extent in which I thought it was going to happen based upon that conversation, but in the ways in which
your head went to an extreme.
I know where to process it, because I got to take it there, and then anything else is just a dial back from that.
Right.
And also, it wasn't that bad. But I did see times in which it changed, and I'm like, oh, she's just pregnant, or it's just postpartum, and I got to just operate in that space. And then understanding that postpartum stuff can be 2 years after you had a baby, it's understanding even the things could happen tomorrow. It's still part of postpartum. And understanding that as long as we committed through this, then that is all that matters, because this too shall pass. It's like the Snickers commercial. You ain't yourself when you hungry, you know. So it's like understanding that from a male perspective, I think would help men along the way.
I don't know what to compare pregnancy to, but I knew in that first trimester that we needed to sit down and have a conversation because anytime you wake up with the exact meal you want in your head, and I think what really did it is that day you went, I don't know where you went somewhere to get something that I asked you to go get, and you didn't get exactly what I asked you for.
I ain't bring that rotisserie chicken back.
That's what did it. I sent Joe to the grocery store with a list of items, and I needed him to pick up a rotisserie chicken, and he came home. And I'm watching him unpack the car and set the groceries out, and I'm looking, and you could smell a rotisserie chicken. And I was so upset, and I think that's what really did it. I was like, we have to sit down and have a conversation because what I just wanted today, I'm not going to be able to say, but I needed that rotisserie chicken. Like, I needed it exact. I already had to wait for you to go grocery shopping. I really wanted you to go grab the rotisserie chicken, come back, and then go grocery shopping. So it's like the fact that I waited all that time, and now I couldn't even wait to cook it. I needed it cooked. And the fact that you brought raw meat in the house, I was just like, what is going on? That's when I knew I needed to have some type of conversation. When you want something, you probably got like 10, 15 minutes. If you don't eat 10, 15 minutes, you sick. You're nauseous. You're about to throw up. You feel lethargic. You're exhausted. Like, look, it's not me. It's the baby. Baby wants these things, and she wants them now. And I think us having that conversation as we walk through, one, it's our first time experiencing pregnancy. It's my first time ever having life grow inside of me and myself changing so much on a daily basis, emotionally, physically, mentally. I totally get it. I'm a different person. Now you irritating because it's what don't you understand about this process?
And the whole time, I'm the same person.
It's a full body experience, external and internal experience that happened. So I think that was huge in us gaining some understanding in that space. Next question. What advice would you give couples who are nervous their marriage will change after kids?
Understand that it's going to change. It's not going to stay the same. You are now taking care of a life, and you have sole responsibility. God blessed you with that child in order to train it up. So understand that it's not going to stay the same. It's meant to change. Get that out your head that it's going to stay the same. It's not possible. But also understand that it's beauty in the change. It's beauty in that. It's growth in that. And why are you so stuck on wanting it to be the same? Just embrace the change. Embrace the grace that God has placed in your life with the newborn baby. And have some grace on yourself, especially being a first-time parent. You don't know everything.
There's life and death in your tongue and the things that you speak out of your mouth.
And
that's why it's so huge for us to say we're living in answered prayer, because exactly how she is exactly what we pray for. So you have no choice but to be grateful for the things that you would like. And I do tell everyone, if you're gonna pray, be very specific down to the letter of what you want that to look like, because the more vague you are, the more room you leave for interpretation.
This one more of a statement and not a question. I think what needs to happen for anybody that's looking to have a kid or about to have a kid is to see what type of relationship a person, your significant other, has with the parents. Because some of those things, those qualities of how they were raised will rub off on them, good, bad, or indifferent. You need to understand how they were raised and what the ideology of their parent is and how they think in order to know how you're going to raise your child. That is important. If one of the parents weren't present, then you got to understand that it may be a void that's there with your partner, and work to help them fill that void and understanding and growth, and put people in place around them that they can learn and grow from.
What's been your favorite us moment since becoming parents?
Us and all three of us?
No, like us, like you and I. Let's do both.
The us moment for all three of us, I think, is how we handled her on our first flight. I think that was a great moment, because we didn't know what to expect. And we did our thing. And us moment between you and I think once our parents left, and the first week in which we was like, oh, we got this. I think that was a great moment for us, because we were navigating on our own, and we were doing a wonderful job at it. And then we just got better and better over time. Even now, we just getting better and better, understanding her. Now we going through this teething phase, which is new. But outside of that, we doing our thing.
I want to answer that too. So my favorite moment with all three of us is every morning when we wake up and it's like the three of us together. That's my favorite moment with us. And my favorite moment with just the two of us is when we are just navigating being parents. When we're navigating, and what do you think this is? And what do you think we should do? And how do you, like, that's my favorite moment because I don't feel like I'm in this by myself. I can understand how this can be frustrating or saddening or depressing to go through this by yourself because there's so many things you don't know. I'm grateful to have you to be able to turn to bounce ideas off of when we need to come up with a plan.
How do you feel about the morning wake-ups? The midnight wake-ups, the bottle feedings and the diaper changes. How did you think about them at the start in comparison to now?
That's a good question. So in the start, they were much more frequent. So you don't feel like you get any sleep because as soon as
Put your head on that
you feel like you finally close your eyes, because there's one thing to, you don't really go to sleep because you're looking at her all night. You're checking on her. You're like, you all right? Did you roll over? Are you breathing? So then when you find, if she wake up every 2 hours, you went to sleep at 1 hour and 47 minutes. And then in 13 minutes, she making noise. So you're back up. So it's like that whole hour and 47 minutes, you didn't sleep. You was peeking over and then you was like, maybe I should stay up. And
so you get 13 minutes of sleep and then you back up.
That in itself is exhausting because you don't actually get rest. And then they doing the same thing during the day. And then you trying to do stuff for you during the day. And there's still not enough time because by the time you finally put in the bed, you're so exhausted that you just want to sit down and do nothing. And then if you sit down and do nothing, now you've got none of the stuff that you want to get done. And then the mental load of having to carry that all. So for that first month, just don't even worry about it. If it's too much or overcapacity, just don't even worry about it. But I will say it gets easier. Now for about, a month, she's been sleeping through the night, one wake up maybe. So with that, it gets easier. And I understand that she's hungry. Her stomach is only so big, it can only hold so much. And now as soon as she makes noise, I get up, I feed her, I burp her, I change her diaper, she's back asleep. Let me see if I had any other questions. Do you feel like we still prioritize each other?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just look different. I think that once she's taking care of her, because she's priority one, and then we take care of each other. We find things that we like to do, like puzzles and watching TV and brainstorming new ideas and new designs for the brand and everything else that we enjoy doing. We actually have goals and objectives we want to reach. So once we take care of our baby and we eat and our well-being, we work on things that we desire to work on. But we take care of each other because we committed for this thing for the long one, boss.
So I will say, in just pregnancy as a whole, or before you even get pregnant, if you're not pregnant already, before you get pregnant, have these conversations with your partner. Even if it's not their first child, have these conversations with your partner about that things may change. Your attitude, your mood, things that you're into, your habits, things may change. And then express those things openly throughout your pregnancy as you are experiencing them on both ends. And really work to be heard and understood and not defensive and combative. When dealing with the things that each person is going through, because it is, I don't know your POV, but I'm sure it is a monumental change for you as well. I needed space or a break or some mental time or to not hear any noise for an hour or two. So when you're going through these things or you're feeling these things, I think it's very important to communicate along the way, because that's the only way that each person can show up as their best self or what their best self looks like for the day. It may not be 100% every single day. Sometimes your best self may be 40%. But in order to get to that 40, sometimes you need to communicate what that looks like to you and how to get there so that you can have support in that way as much as possible. Sometimes I take majority of the lead. Sometimes Joe, hey, today I need you to do this and this. I don't have it to that degree. And a lot of times Joe takes the lead. I got it. I see you got this, you working on mentally, physically, or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and take over this. Be very selective with who you choose to have a child with, because it is the make or break.
To put yourself in the best situation is to put yourself in a situation with somebody who already exhibit the qualities in which you desire to have in a partner.
Because you need someone who is going to lighten your load. You need someone who's going to pick it up when you're no longer able to carry it, or jump in and help you carry it along the way. Even when I got to a point where, and I'm gonna speak about this as well, but when I got to a point where it's like, oh, I want to leave the house and I want to do other things, somebody that I feel can still hold it down while I'm gone. Because that's huge. I have a lot of mothers that I'm in communication with. They don't feel like the father of their child is adequate enough to be left with their child by themselves. And that is outrageous. Anxiety and stress all in itself. So make sure it's somebody that you feel as though is open to learn, can be taught, and then would do the things that, and they're not going to do it exactly how you were going to do it. Joe is his own type of parent. I am my own type of parent. I have to believe that he is doing what is best in his parenting style, because we may not parent the exact same. We may not have the exact same solutions to all of her needs, but I have to let him be a parent as well and operate in his parental space.
The woman carried the child, so she's going to believe she's right 100% of the time. Even if you think there's a better way to do something, just go with what she says starting out, because there's a losing battle. You're not going to win. She carried that baby for 9-10 months, and she's going to say this is the way that it should be. Now, as the baby gets older, she's likely to see it more your way. But first starting out, first month, 2, maybe even 3 months, don't even worry about trying to be right or say, I got a suggestion. Just go for what she says.
Thank you for that. Big thing of me navigating was figuring out how to leave the house. So first there is and I think what really helped me with this too, I think just a few weeks after we had Lux, Joe was like, oh, I want to get back to, he's in some groups. And he was like, I want to get back to my groups. And I remember thinking in my head, like, what do you mean like you have a baby? I was thinking you would get back to them groups for until she was 1. And it really helped me to be like, oh, there is another side of this in which we can leave the house. And in my head, we all left the house together. So now that he's talking about leaving the house, I'm like, oh, what does that look like for me on the other side as an individual parent? Because at that point, we did a lot of stuff with just us, or we had our parents here. So I had to plan accordingly. And then what does that look like for me to leave the house with just me? Not with my daughter, not with my husband, but with just me, and planning what that looks like. And I think that really helped me to be able to get out the house, to be able to get to do some things I enjoyed that made me Amani again, and not Amani the wife or Amani the mom. I got to kind of put some of those hats to the side and actually be me again. Sometimes you may feel anxiety about leaving the house, anxiety about leaving the house by yourself, anxiety about leaving the house with your child. Out in public, especially with Lux, a lot of people walk up to us, they want to touch Lux. They want to, oh, she's so cute. They want to hold her hand. They want to touch her foot. They want to touch her hair. They want to touch her face. They want to kiss her. It's the most baffling thing I've ever seen. I don't understand it. I've never walked up to a stranger's child and thought to touch them, or thought to kiss them, or thought to in any way be physical with them. So it is, when I see things like that, I just, as newly postpartum mom, it was a fight or flight rage feeling, and how to navigate that, and what do emergencies look like. There are those things that you ask yourself, but I think just trust yourself. Just plan as best as you can, but you can't plan for everything, and then you wing it from there. You're a lot more prepared than you think you are. You're a lot more knowledgeable than you think you are. Know where all your local hospitals are. If you are nervous or you're concerned, go to the hospital. If you don't know, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. Is what I gotta add. And then you gain more knowledge, especially as a first-time parent. But I think those are our biggest things. We have really been working to navigate communication. Communication is everything at every single stage of every single relationship that you have. Your ability to say something and them understand, and their ability to say something and you understand, is pivotal. And I think that's been huge for us, pregnancy and postpartum. is learning how to speak. We don't talk the same. We don't communicate the same. We don't have the same situations or issues that we worked on or worked out before. They're new. Everything is new, it's different, and we have to figure out how to navigate it on this side.
The problem comes if you chose wrong, or you just was in a space of messing around and now you about to find out. Now, if that's your scenario in which you're now dealing with, then you need to forgive yourself. Understand whatever it is right now is most likely what it's going to be, and move forward. Feeling stuck, you don't make a move. And if you are feeling stuck right now, you are not stuck. I need you to understand that. You just gotta figure out what that looks like on the other side of that.
Even though this may be the situation, or this may be the circumstance, or this may be what happened, you have to think about what's best at this point to be able to move forward. And if you didn't take the time to think about those things in the beginning, there's no better time than the present to review those things and make the decision that is best for you. And pregnancy is a beautiful thing. Postpartum is beautiful. You are different. I see this as our next chapter. It's our 30s.
Yeah.
Like our 30s, our 20s, we were dating and we got married. Our 30s, we now have a child. So it's our 30s. It's our next chapter. It looks totally different. We're totally different. We're aging gracefully through the grace of God, and we are navigating what it looks like next. And we're going to have another chapter in our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, God willing, 80 and everything else. And we hope to be able to come on and share some of those things, because we're all figuring this out. There's no rule book. There's no manual. Even when I ask people what they went through, it may not be specifically what I went through or what I'm going through. So you have to write your own manual. We have to figure out the things that work best for you. And that's a big reason why we do the pod, is so we can share the things that work for us. So if there is somebody out there or a group of people out there who which this is able to touch and help learn or start a little bit further than we started with, then that is all
Mission complete.
Yeah, that's mission complete for us, because there was no rule book to parenting, to relationships, to marriage, to communication, to understanding, to all of these things. And we're navigating a lot of them for the first time. So we hope this was helpful and informative. Please comment and sound off below if any of this was helpful to you. If you are married and you have a child and there's anything that you could share below, please pop those down below in the comments. And if there's anything, a question that you have because you are planning to have children or pregnant or navigating postpartum, and there's questions that you may have for someone, maybe someone else is able to chime in and answer some of those questions for you as well, please comment those. We would love to hear from you. Do not forget to comment below and subscribe so that you can know the next time that we will be available.
We're going to pray for all of our viewers. With that being said, we love y'all. Until next time, it's been the dudes. Peace.
Peace. You know what to say bye? You know what to say I'll see you later? Not yet?